C's I've developed through being in TV for 10 years, working at Netflix, launching Us Weekly's video unit. I've won 6 awards for my marketing. I've really thought about the essential elements of making good video. It's awesome. Wait, I want to undo my quote because I'm not a super fan of Henry Ford. So I'm actually I didn't realize that was his quote until you said it. So I'm actually going to change it. I'm going to say.
So folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording, and we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak, and here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future, and we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host Navin Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So folks, first of all, why should you watch or listen to this episode? Foremost thing, learn Kim's 4 C's for creating videos that grow your business, and discover how to craft the perfect pitch and sell yourself in 30 seconds. And thirdly, gain insights on using AI for content creation without losing your human edge. And last but not the least, get inspired by Kim's bold journey of leaving corporate life and building a thriving and impactful career. So let me introduce you our guest for today, Kim Rittberg. She's an award-winning video and speaking coach, a former Netflix executive, and the founder of the Exit Interview podcast. She empowers business owners, real estate agents, and coaches to shine on video and podcasts, driving leads and revenue. She's a leading national speaker and media veteran. Kim has been featured in Forbes, Business Insider, and also Fast Company. And today we are going to have an interesting conversation with Kim on a topic at hand, from corporate chaos to camera confidence. Mastering video and podcast with Kim Rittberg. But before we get into the episode, here is an exciting twist. As always, let us tickle our guest's brain first. So Kim, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words, and I'll mention a few. Would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's get started.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, here comes my first word. Curiosity.
Sky.
Invention.
Gadgets.
Future.
Robots.
Universe.
Unknown.
All right, and then leadership.
Power.
Success.
Over.
Podcast.
Harmonious.
Exit interview.
Inspirational.
Role model.
Mom.
All right, here comes the last one. Communication.
Clear.
Awesome. Thank you for participating in the first rapid fire round, and there is one more rapid fire round toward the end of the episode, so stay tuned and let's get the ball rolling. So first of all, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, pleasure to host you, and let's begin with your guiding voice. Talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
My guiding voice is basically intentionality. So some people do New Year's resolutions. I do intentions. So how do I want to live my life this year? And I've really started this since becoming a business owner. I think in the corporate world, we are guided by corporate decisions or our boss or what we know our goals are. And then in our personal life, we might have resolutions. But as a business owner, everything is new, right? All the time. And so I really look at intentions for each year. So for me, that is to support more people, to have a clear, confident, persuasive voice out there in the world, to encourage them to start using that voice. And then also to empower more people with video. Still video is growing, but not everyone is using it, whether it's fear or mindset or lack of knowledge. But that's sort of my guiding voice for this year, is the intentionality to support more people. And in my personal life, be supporting my family as well. So I think that's kind of a twofold thing, in that I love supporting professionals to become thought leaders, and to support my family, to be there for them and feel present in their lives.
Wonderful. And when it comes to the video content, I think LinkedIn is betting big on videos, and it has been supporting all the creators by providing some prompts and many more. And in fact, I've also started creating some short form videos. I think videos are going to be the way of communication. All right. So, Kim, you quit a successful corporate career while working in a labor and delivery room, right? So, what made you take that bold leap, and how did you overcome the fear of uncertainty?
Sure. So, there are those moments in your life where, people who are listening to this podcast, people who are on LinkedIn, we all want more. We are ambitious. We are driven. That's great. And that is healthy, and it is normal. Not normal, typical, whatever. But there is a point at which you have to say, is this what I want? Is this career, this life, this business, is it what I want? And I think that realization led me to realize I had worked at Netflix. I had launched the first video unit for Us Weekly, the celebrity magazine. I had worked in TV for 10 years. I loved those jobs. Like, I was able to cover massive stories like inaugurations, red carpets, like, every story you could possibly imagine. I was in the field covering for news, telling stories, helping people be confident on camera. I love that. But then I thought, okay, is this the structure at which I want to be doing this? Like, do I want it to be that I can't remove myself for a day or two to give birth? And I think it's just the realization that I'm fine with working hard. I've always worked hard. That's always. But is there a different structure to it? And then what I've realized along the path is I'm actually loving supporting people with video, not just about writing the stories, but actually helping people clarify who they are, bring forward what's special to them. I think when we're inside ourselves, it's hard to see what's special about us, but helping them clarify who they are, put themselves out there more, get that confidence, and really show people who you are and become that thought leader that you want to become. So that's, it started in the hospital, and now it's ended up kind of on national stages. I'm now a speaker, a video coach for professionals and executives across the world. And it's just been an amazing journey, and I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm. Superb. I think you're living your passion. That's what I could figure out. And Kim, can you also talk to us about your success mantra, as in top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far?
Sure. One thing you had asked about before is overcoming uncertainty and fear. So I think number 1, fear lives in all of us. And it's not the fear of spiders or the fear of bats or whatever, which I am actually afraid of bats. But that fear really lives inside of us and holds us back in major, major ways. And we have to peel back and say, why am I not doing this thing that I want to do? So for example, I have clients come to me that say, I really want to be on camera and I can't. I'm like, well, okay, why do you want to be on camera? And where is the can't from? And I had this for myself as well. I really didn't want to be on camera for my business. I was a trained TV producer. I had been a reporter. I know how to be on camera, but I didn't want to because I was afraid of judgment. So for me, my fear was of judgment, and other people's is fear of looking like an imposter. And you have to peel back the fear and weigh your desire versus your fear. How badly do you want that thing? And how great is your fear? If you can make the desire outweigh the fear, then you can start the steps. But you can't even get to first base without that. So I think that that's something for myself. I realized it took me 2 years to launch my business after the hospital.
Wow.
So I can say, oh, that was my epiphany, but it still took me 2 years. And likewise, I see for a lot of my clients, they're not showing up on camera. And they can say it's because they're busy. They can say it's that they don't have time. But the truth is, it's something holding us back. We're worried we're going to look silly. We're worried of judgment. We're worried people are going to think badly of us. But you have to say, putting myself on camera, putting myself out there is just another way to talk to people. It's just another way to communicate. I'm not going to be cringy. There's nothing embarrassing about video. It's just another way to communicate. And I think that really examine why you're not doing something, examine that fear and where it's from. That's been a major thing I've learned. So that's one of them, is examine where your fear is coming from. Number 2, hiding from clients is hiding from the camera. The other way. Hiding from the camera is hiding from clients. And people can't hire you if they can't see you. Truly.
Right.
Video is the most popular method. Video is shared more than other content. In every industry, customers want to see more video. So when we're not putting ourselves out there, we're only harming ourselves. So I think those are the 2 major things that I see. Like, you have to identify why you're not out there. You have to tap into that fear, ask yourself why you're not doing it. You have to realize hiding from the camera is hiding from clients. And then the last one is, once we're in the mode of making content and putting ourselves out there, those are the 4 C's that I'll talk about in a second.
Okay. Yep. Got it. And again, transitioning from big brands like Netflix and US Weekly to returning to running your own business, right? It must have been a huge mindset shift. And this podcast is all about personal development and also successful career transition. So our audience might also be curious in case if they want to take that particular big shift from, say, a high paying corporate job, maybe at exec level, but still they might be having that particular self-doubt or whatever it is, but still they're sticking to it. And if they want to make that particular shift, right, this question might be helpful. Your response might be helpful to them. So that's why talk to us about what challenges have you faced. Sure. And how did you navigate them through this particular transition?
Sure. I mean, when I first started my business, I was using a Gmail address. My website was very beginner. And I think the major thing is not really the tools, because if you're driven and you're successful in some way, you can figure out the things you need to learn. Like, we are all resourceful. It's not a question of like, where will I learn that? Well, I'm sure there's someone who can help you. It is really envisioning yourself as a business owner and changing your identity. So for me, it was a big identity. It was like an identity crisis, basically. And I had thought, well, without my business card that says Netflix or Fox, who's going to return my email? That was really something I thought about. And I know who I am. Like, I know who I am as a family member, as a person existing in the world. I have moral clarity, but professionally, we really have a lot of ourselves tied up in our profession. And so we have to be okay with saying the beginning of something new is scary and it's a challenge. I don't know where it will go, but I believe in it enough that I'm going to try, because the beginning is really, really hard. So you have to believe that you can do it, and you have to see yourself. You have to sort of do that future casting. You have to envision yourself in that new role, because it's a huge identity shift to leave a corporate company where your business card, your LinkedIn, everybody sees you as that thing. So you just have to say, it's okay to shed that layer, to shed that, like a snake, to molt that skin and grow into something new and envision yourself as a founder or a consultant or whatever it is you want to be doing. But the identity crisis can be real.
Right. I love the phrase that you mentioned, future casting. That is so intriguing. Wonderful. And also the snake metaphor. Awesome. Now let's shift gears and talk about the 4 C's formula for creating great videos, right? So break that down for us and share why are they essential for anyone who are looking to grow their brand.
Sure. So the 4 C's I've developed through being in TV for 10 years, working at Netflix, launching Us Weekly's video unit. I've won 6 awards for my marketing. I've really thought about the essential elements of making good video. This is for anything, but it's definitely especially also for professionals trying to put themselves out there. And what I see is you have to really have all those things that are combined to make the videos work and be compelling. So the first C is confidence. And by confidence, I don't just mean confidence on camera, but confidence in your message, confidence in your business. Because if you show up in content, video, social media content, and you're not 110% committed to your message, it's going to fall flat. No one's going to believe in that, right? So we have that confidence piece is super, super important. And I mentioned this before, but hiding from the camera is hiding from clients. So you have to believe that you should be out there. And without that essential underlying belief of the world needs to hear my voice, I have something to add, you can't make good content. You have to believe that your voice needs to be out there. And I've written a lot about the personal brand for Fast Company magazine, but you cannot build that personal brand if you don't deeply believe that your voice should be out there. The second C, and you know what? It's interesting. So two of my clients were lacking in that confidence, right? So they work for themselves. They're based out of Texas and Florida, and they were really camera shy. But once we broke through that camera shy business, I would say business, the concept of being camera shy, they were able to start showing up on camera and bring in a lot of sales, like multi 7 figures in sales. And that is from showing up on camera with that confidence. But you're hiding. Until then, you're just hiding. Your clients can't see you if you're hiding behind the camera. The next C is clarity. And by clarity, I mean clarity of your brand. So who are you? What is your professional perspective? And then in a personal sense, like, what are your hobbies? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to put out there? Whether you like, slasher films or Dungeons and Dragons or cats or marathons, there's always a way to connect with people when you let a little more of your real person in there. So clarity of who you are as a brand, but clarity of message. One video, one message. So every time you're thinking of making a video, I want you to say, what's the headline? So that's something in TV. It'd be like, what's the headline? If you can't pitch the idea to me in 5 seconds, it's probably not a good video. So that's something that, from being in TV for almost 2 decades, I really learn, and I think about that for my clients. The next C is credibility. I mean, would you see a doctor if you don't see their diploma on the wall? No. So people are not going to hire you if they don't believe that you actually are credible, right? They're investing money with you and they're building a relationship with you. So credibility doesn't necessarily have to mean you've won awards or you've been featured in the biggest newspapers in the world, but it could be successful client work, right? Projects you did that were successful, impact. But if you do have awards or diplomas or things like that, definitely make sure those are visible. And then the last C is connection. So it's, we know that in real life, word of mouth referrals are the golden ticket, right? You always want word of mouth referrals. Having that be a part of the online world is really important. You're basically trying to replicate the word of mouth referrals through the online world. You're staying top of mind for people and you're really connecting with more people online, but building that connection. So instead of going out and meeting people all the time in networking functions, you're able to do that faster online because you're having such a reach. So when you're able to show up, include some of your professional perspective and your personal interests, building that connection piece. And I think the personal interests, again, are super important. When I post on social media, oftentimes I will see a photo of me and my family will get a lot of engagement. You might say, oh, but you're not selling your family. You're not a mom influencer. Right. But those people who are engaging with me as a human can be clients, right? So bringing in a little bit more of your personal world can engage people and build that connection piece. And again, video, when you're talking about connection, they're hearing your voice. They're hearing your mannerisms. They're hearing your empathy. They're hearing your authenticity. So again, there's no better tool to build all of this than with video.
Wonderful. So just to summarize, it starts with confidence, clarity, connections, and credibility. Amazing.
Awesome.
And so Kim, for the beginners, right, who might fear being cringy on camera, what is the number one tip to start confidently?
So the number one tip to be confident on camera is that preparation of your mind. People will ask me, what camera should I get? I'm like, you shouldn't buy any tools until you feel good about your message and about being on camera. So the mindset preparation is the number one thing. Feel like really own that I need to put my voice out there. Once you're done with that, before every video, prepare your message. Do not write a script, write bullet points. So again, bullet points, don't be reading a script. That's going to sound super robotic.
Right.
Have bullet points so you can really connect with the camera and bring out your personality.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Awesome. Let's move to the next one. Nowadays, there is a lot of emphasis on podcasts. Everybody is getting into podcasts, especially in India. The trend is booming like anything, right? So, why do you think podcasts are such a powerful tool for business owners, and how can they stand out in this crowded space? It is getting extremely crowded. It is not easy to really shine in this space.
I love that question. So podcasts, I think, are interesting because they hit some of the goals that business owners are trying to achieve, but in meeting people where they are. So in media and just in business, you talk about meeting customers where they are, right? You meeting people where they are. So podcasting, it's a different experience, right? A lot of people listen to podcasts in the car, on a walk, walking their dog. So it's a different experience than maybe somebody would be watching social media videos. Also, short form videos are way more popular. And podcasts, I think the average podcast right now is 30 minutes. So again, you're talking about reaching people, but in a different way, with a different message, building a different sort of connection. So I think in terms of podcasts being crowded, it's so what? Everything's crowded. Everything's crowded. So I think it's more about identifying your goals and saying, can I hit my goals with this podcast? And not being so married to the numbers. So for example, I have one client, she's a healthcare consultant, and I helped her and her team of consultants in healthcare launch a podcast. A podcast, of course, has the video element as well. And we were putting all these videos on LinkedIn, right? So we have videos on LinkedIn, videos on YouTube, podcasts in your ears. And in addition to building relationships and getting listeners in the industry, it has allowed one of those consultants to build their speaking. So she's now being invited to moderate conferences, be on stages, grow as a thought leader. So I think when people are thinking about podcasts and say, oh, it's so crowded. Okay, but are people in your niche listening? Can you be seen as a thought leader in your niche through a podcast? You have to really think it has so many, many benefits. You do have to sit down and say, what are my goals? And does the time constraints, obviously takes time to produce a podcast. You have to say, do I have the time, the bandwidth, the money to produce and launch this podcast and keep it up? But if it aligns with your goals, definitely don't shy away because it's too crowded. I think it's something like 90% of podcasts don't last past the first 3 months. So even if you're saying, oh, there's 4 million podcasts or whatever the number is, millions and millions of podcasts, what's the point? So many of those are dormant, right? So many of those don't make it past month 3. So it's like saying, oh, I'm not going to go on social media because there's so many people on social media. Actually, it's a better reason to be on it. So many people are there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. In fact, you reminded me of the fact that not many podcasts don't cross 7th episode. Okay. In case if they can cross 7th episode, I think there are brighter chances of getting there. And my next question is more on the artificial intelligence space. Like last year, when some tools like Midjourney and all other chat GPT based, Gen AI based picture generation tools were launched, all of a sudden we started seeing some content which looked so artificial, right? In terms of some images that are generated portraying either mythology or any subject you take. So that particular naturality is missing, right? So because these AI tools are changing the way we create content, how can business owners leverage AI while still maintaining their authenticity and most importantly, the human touch element?
So great question, because we are all seeing these very robotic videos and content from AI.
Exactly.
So I think it's important to step back and say, why are we on social media, right? To build connections, to build relationships, and eat more and more. And I spoke about this at the Fast Company Innovation Festival this fall. More and more in a sea of robotic content, your humanity will help you stand out. So the more people just put out garbage, 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 garbage in, garbage out, the garbage is that AI content, but it's also based upon what are your prompts. So if you can get clear on your brand, you can get a better output. And so I always work when clients come to me, they're, oh, what's the tool I should have? What video should I make? I'm like, no, let's step back. Let's do our brand identity. That's the very first thing you need to do. You have to really understand your messaging, your branding, who your audience is, because ChatGPT and AI is only as good as the inputs. So if I just said, I'm a video marketer, write some posts for me. It sounds like anybody. It could sound like anybody. It's not going to have my humor. It's not going to have my wit or my charm. No, but it's not even going to have, I'm joking, but it's not even going to have really my specialty. Like it's not going to, unless I tell it, it's not going to know the things I learned from working in TV. It's not going to learn the things I know from working in social media at like Us Weekly and Netflix and things like that. It's not going to know the inner details of my thoughts and feelings about, being a leader in media, being a female leader, whatever. It's just going to write some things that it has crowdsourced, right, from its sources. So garbage in, garbage out, come up with better prompts. So start with a really strong brand ID. And like, if you're struggling and you don't know your brand, like message me, we'll do a little brand identity work. But it's really important to understand your brand deeply before you're asking a robot to create content for you. So that's the number one thing. You have to do that brand identity work. And then a lot of the AI output is good, but I think you still need to comb it through. And I have a thing, I'm actually just pulling it up because I spoke about this at Fast Company and now I'm trying to, the one thing is when you get your output, it's really, really important to run it through what I call my, it's a certain prompts that you have to look through. It's a checklist. SAG, S-A-G. Does it sound like me? So if you get a piece of material from ChatGPT, does it sound like you? A, do I agree with it? Right? Sometimes it'll say a point of view and I'm like, I don't even agree with this. I'm not going to use that. G, is it generic? Generic is bad. If anybody could post it, don't post it. So first, you're making sure you have your brand ID. If you don't have your brand ID, connect with me, Kim Rittberg. But then once you understand your brand and you know what your prompts are, run the output through the SAG checklist. SAG, doesn't sound like me. Do I agree? Is it generic?
Wow. I love the tips. And Kim, you say that humility doesn't pay the bills, right? Can you explain how people can brag about themselves professionally without coming across as arrogant or without really sounding as if they are boasting about themselves?
Sure. Humility does not pay the bills. I do believe this very, very deeply. First of all, I want to step back and say, think about all the people you know and all the people you know on social media. What % of them do you think are obnoxious braggarts? I'm actually going to ask you this. What do you think?
That's probably 10%.
10? I would say for me, like 2%. I don't even feel like there are that many people bragging on my social media. And maybe it's, it's also like, it depends on different cultures, different gender. Like exactly. It depends. Yeah. But like from my vantage point, not that many people are blowhard, obnoxious braggarts. More people that I see come on my podcast and introduce themselves. I'm a consultant, I'm a coach, I'm a founder. I find myself saying, didn't you win 4 awards last year for your product? And this other person, I'm like, weren't you featured in the New York Times? And I think there's this misunderstanding of people that any accolade, accomplishment that you have, that you say, makes you seem obnoxious. But you actually just have to say, this is a data point, right? This just places in this person's mind who I do, where I'm at, what level I'm at. And that was a real wake-up call for me. I remember I was working as an executive in media and I met with a vendor and I brought with me a 3-page document of my observations about their product that I thought they could enhance based on our work together. And they said to me, oh, what is your role? And I was like, well, I'm the head of video, obviously. And it was such a weird thing to me. And I'm like, did I not make it clear that I'm the boss of this? And I wasn't sure what it was, whether it was them underestimating me or me not being clear, but it made me realize I didn't tell this person who I am. And if you go meet someone, there's a million people out there. Everyone on social media who knows who they are. Are they scammers? Are they real? Are they phonies? Are they not? I was a journalist for 10 years. I got emails from people saying, I'd like to be on TV. I'd like for you to feature me as an expert. I was the person who had to decide, should they be on television? If I put you on TV and you're a fake or you're not good, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble with my boss, right? I'm the TV producer.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. But now that people are selling their services on social media, if you're not what you say you are, like people might not find out, right? So you're competing and nobody knows who anyone is. So think of those accomplishments as just data points. And it's not bragging if it's true, right? So instead of saying, oh, I'm bragging, why don't you just say, this is a thing I've done, right? So I say to people, they're like, oh, and I do it in different circumstances. Sometimes I use the full one, sometimes I don't. But I say, I'm Kim Rittberg. I help professionals become thought leaders through video and podcasts. I use my 20 years of media experience at Netflix as the founding video head of Us Weekly, which sold for $100 million. And I've won 6 awards in marketing, and I write for Fast Company. I didn't even include all the things. Like I could say, and I've been featured in Business Insider and Forbes. Did that sound super obnoxious to you?
No, not at all. It sounded as if you were talking about your experience. I felt so good about it.
So, well, thank you for saying that, because I think sometimes I don't even say the full thing because it sometimes feels a little braggy. But to your point is, I'm actually just telling you my experience. Like, Is it braggy to say I did these things? Like, that's actually just an accurate reflection of my professional experience. So I think that the idea that you're bragging is in our head. It's not bragging if it's true. It's not bragging if it's true. And more often than not, you are hurting yourself by not sharing your professional experience or your accomplishments, because that person is then thinking, does this person know what they're talking about? Should I trust this person? Mm-hmm. Do they have the requisite experience? And if you can't prove those things, then I might not consider working with you. I might not put you on my podcast. I might not put you on a stage. And so I think that we just have to reframe it. I say humility doesn't pay the bills because it's funny and it's catchy, but truly, like, you need to show who you are because money is on the line. If people don't think you're credible and don't know what you can bring to the table, they're not going to hire you.
Yeah. Superb. I love the response here. And Kim, let's move forward to the next one. What is, out of all your coaching conversations with the clients and helping them get onto the video and all, what is the biggest misconception that you have noticed people have about making videos or also starting their own podcasts?
There's 2 things. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number one, I think for video, it's not as hard as it looks. It just doesn't have to be complicated. I think people really misunderstand that. But on the second hand, I think for all of these things, video and podcast, you have to be super clear on your goals and your strategy. I think a lot of time with podcasts, because it seems not easy, but like sometimes people, I'll just record and put it out there. No one wants to listen to that. You have to go in there with a goal and a strategy. Who do I want to teach? What's the lesson I want to have? Who do I want to be known as? What do I want to be known for? And you have to keep it tight. Like every video, every podcast, one video, one message, one podcast, one message. You can have a conversation within that, but when I walk away, I want to say, on the guiding voice, we talked about X, Y, and Z. There's more, obviously, in a 30 to 45 minute conversation, but one message. Keep it really, really simple for each piece of content. Someone should be able to say, hey, friend, I wanted you to listen to this podcast. It taught me how to be confident on camera and how to make videos easily. Great. Okay. You have to be able to say it succinctly. And if you can't say it succinctly, your content's probably not clear.
Yeah. Superb. So far we've had incredible and insightful conversation, and it's time for us to add some more excitement and some more spice to the episode. If you're ready, I'm ready. The second rapid fire round.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So comes my first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Funny you mentioned that. I'm working on a billboard in Times Square right now, so I have to get back to you once I do it. I'm playing with some ideas. I'm actually working on my taglines for the next year. I think there's a couple of things. It's not necessarily my billboard tagline, but it's visibility via video. And the idea is if you want to be more seen and you want to be more trusted, you have to get on video, and I can help you do that. The other one is I really think a lot about just if you want to be seen, respected, and hired, let's talk.
Great. And describe yourself in just one word.
Electric.
Oh, wow. And one word to describe video content in today's world.
Connective.
And your favorite podcast besides your own.
Oh, that's so hard. I have to get back to you on that. That's really hard. I listen to a bunch. I like learning ones. I like ones that all focus on learning, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is your most memorable media moment in your career?
I went to the Oscars for sure. Going to the Oscars was definitely a highlight. And then also I covered President Obama's inauguration as well.
Oh, wow. And your favorite Netflix series?
Ooh, oh my God, so many. Succession is HBO, I think. Okay, Succession, I think, is HBO. Netflix, oh my God, I like a lot of comedy. I have to think. I love comedy, so it's definitely something. It's definitely a comedy for sure. I have to think. I don't even know if it's not. I should look at my past watches, right? I should look at my past watch list.
That's fine. And talk to us about the best piece of advice that you have ever received.
Anything you put your mind to, you can do.
And your go-to motivational quote.
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Henry Ford, right? Yeah, amazing. I love that quote. And it comes the last one for the rapid fire, second rapid fire. One book that every entrepreneur should read.
Oh my gosh, these are really hard. The book. Oh my God. I don't have a book for that. I have to say, I don't have a book for that. I feel like I've taken so many classes and courses and studied, and I don't know that. I'm not sure.
Okay. That's fine. Fair enough. And let's be back to the mainstream. So, Kim, balancing family, business, and speaking engagements must be a juggling act, right? So, talk to us about how do you prioritize and keep your energy up for what matters the most?
Ooh, how to keep energy up for what matters the most. Whew. Napping. No. The napping of it. I think it really is about maintaining your intentions and balancing your energy. So like I am an all in or all out person. So I don't want to be flat out and totally exhausted by the time I see my kids. So it's like, I have to just be aware that I have to say no to a bunch of things just because time is limited, but also creating that separation, and transitional times. So if I'm really, really working like nose to the grindstone, stop, take a little walk, get my kids, put my phone away. So I think that's separation. And then saving your energy. I think the truth is you have to really assess every single yes that you're giving. The time is finite. You can't do everything. And so you just have to say like, does this make sense for me right now? And it's the same with content creation. You're like, I might have a lot of ideas. Let's focus on what I'm doing. Or I have all this stuff in my business. Am I doing too much of this? Like people who aren't doing enough video. Maybe you're doing too much of that other stuff and not enough video. And so balance it with the yeses and the nos. That's been a really major thing.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. All right. So I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. And how is your experience being hosted on The Guiding Voice?
It was awesome. Wait, I want to undo my quote because I'm not a super fan of Henry Ford. So I'm actually I didn't realize that was his quote until you said it. So I'm actually going to change it. I'm going to say, the person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person doing it.
Wow.
That.
Love it. I love it.
So I'm undoing because I'm not a Henry Ford fan. So I'm going to undo that.
No worries. And thank you so much for joining us. And it was really fun talking to you. And you have shared great insights which are going to help our audience immensely. And thank you once again. Looking forward to hosting you again in future.
Thank you. And then for any listeners who want to grab I have free video tips. So 10 ways to make videos that make you into a thought leader, that help make you money. That's on my LinkedIn. You can grab that, or on my website, kimrittberg.com. And you could follow me on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Kim
Yeah.
Rittberg. I have lots of nice free downloads. And if you want some clarity on your brand, again, just reach out to me and let me know that you heard me on the guiding voice.
Absolutely. So you'll find Kim's LinkedIn profile and also her website in the show notes, guys. So go ahead and follow her, and also leverage the free video resources that she has put on the website as well. All right. So thank you once again. And now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment of today's episode. And today I want to talk to you about the 3 lesser known and interesting facts about the origins of camera. Having had amazing conversation about why one has to start creating videos and build their brand, I thought I'd present you 3 lesser known facts about the camera. First and foremost is the camera obscura's ancient roots. The concept of the camera dates back to 5th century BCE, when Chinese philosopher Mozi described the principle of the camera obscura, the Latin for dark room, and this device projected an inverted image of the outside world onto a wall or screen using a small hole in a dark enclosure. And artists and scientists later used it as a tool for drawing and also understanding light. And next fact is about the first permanent photograph took days to create. The first known permanent photograph was taken by Joseph Nicephore Niepce in 1826. It required an exposure of time of it required an exposure time of 8 hours to several days. And Niepce used a process called heliography on a pewter plate coated with bitumen, which hardened when exposed to light. And the third fact is the term photography means writing the light. The word photography originates from the Greek roots, and phos means light, and graphene meaning to draw or to write. It is coined by scientist Sir John Herschel in 1839, and it literally translates to drawing with light, perfectly capturing the essence of capturing images. So, likewise, if you have any interesting facts related to camera or anything related to video, do let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment there, or if you found the episode on any social media platforms, you can comment there as well, or on audio platforms too. All right, so folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. Until next time, take care and stay inspired. Remember, the best is yet to come. So goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.